Welcome everybody to another edition of the Locker Room Readout slash Reader North. I am your Christian Soldier. My name is Irie Harris. Welcome back. I ate good. Hopefully y'all did too. Joined by the best co-host there is, Sapphire Blue.
Ticka, 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 ticka.
And real, and real quick, a lot of people, some people said the last couple episodes they didn't hear that. We got that. We got that fixed up. Little
Good
technology
talk.
malfunction. You know what I mean? We good. We back in business, baby. EPMD. And the rest of us man himself, Chris Murray.
I'm mad as fuck.
Ah,
I'm just saying. I am mad.
Wait a minute.
I'm
Wait a minute.
mad.
Wait a minute.
one more time.
Nobody knows my sorrows.
Yeah. Yeah. Except for Cleveland Browns fans, but in any,
But see,
in
this is
any,
what you get. This is what
that's
you
what I
get,
get.
Christopher, for talking trash the other week,
Oh
talking about the
no.
Browns season is over. And I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't get that memo that the Cleveland Browns have been mathematically eliminated. Booyah! I'm just saying.
I got booyah today. Not only did my team lose,
Mhm.
I
That's you got booyah, Chris, in the big 2-5, bro. Big bro,
Mhm.
look, OG.
Struggling
I'm
today.
sorry, OG. Come on, look, you got
think I put it to you this way. Last night. About last night, about my team. I
hmm
kind of deep down inside, I suspected that it was coming to that they beaten the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals, 4 straight times,
you know.
and then to Joe Burrow was coming back, and I was really unsure of how Lamar was going to show up, and all my worst fears were confirmed. That's what I have
Okay,
to
wait,
say.
wait, wait a minute. You're putting this on Lamar Jackson?
Well, part of it, yeah, he turned the
Wow.
ball over. I mean, he's not the only one. I mean, you know, what's his name? A lot, likely,
Forgetting the
likely
name of
fumbled
his
the
Is
player,
ball.
it likely
Tyree.
Huh?
of
What's that?
his
Say that again?
team that he joined
No,
on
And he was
every
like,
week?
"What's his name? What's my tight end's name? Chris. You struggling today? You struggling?
I know, man.
Cincinnati Bengals went over to Baltimore.
Isaiah likely.
But listen, wait.
Man, it's
I
because
can't
my
believe what is
my, my
happening right
my
now,
my
bro.
brain my brain was slow. I had a lot of turkey. I had some Crown Royal apple with
Oh,
ginger ale last night,
Ooh.
okay.
and had some wine,
Mhm,
and I didn't get to the
mhm,
beer. But the
mhm,
thing is, in all seriousness though, and all
mhm,
jokes aside, um,
mhm.
there was worry in the city of Baltimore whether or not which Lamar Jackson was going to show up. And Lamar Jackson wasn't by himself. I mean, Zay Flowers had a touchdown that was called back because of a push off. Although I didn't think that was a push off, but you know, like I said, that's how the refs saw it, and so and the Bengals defense stepped up for once in their life. They actually stepped up. Of course, why can't they step up on Pittsburgh? Nobody, they never want to step up on Pittsburgh, but that's okay. But in all seriousness, I mean, the Bengals outplayed Baltimore. I mean, that's just the
Mhm.
simple. I can, from saying it from a point of view of a journalist, I can safely say that Baltimore didn't have its A game. Lamar Jackson kept missing passes, and he kept missing guys who were open, and that was something he had been doing. He did a lot of that in the Cleveland game, and he did a lot of that in the previous game. So, from that standpoint, they've got to step their game up. One thing they finally they put in another guy for Andrew Voorhees, but I think that but believe it or not, the run game was better. Believe it or not, I can say a lot of things about last night. I mean, like I say, Henry, Keaton Mitchell has broke off some big runs in the game yesterday. It's just that the court and even Lamar ran the ball a little bit, which tells me he's kind of getting out of the funk that he's in. But nevertheless, he's still in a funk. So give Cincinnati credit. They won the game. They made all the right plays. Joe Burrow played well. But I also thought that the Ravens did a good job of stopping the Ravens defense. Did everything. Ravens defense stood on its head like Patrick Waugh during his days with the New Jersey Devils. I mean, like a goalie. But when you don't score and when your offense gives the ball away, eventually even a great defense will break down. That's the Philadelphia Eagles, but that's another story.
That's so interesting because, I hate when the outcome of a game or the progression of the game is impacted by referee calls. And I'll tell you something, I really didn't think Flowers, I didn't really think there was justification for the PI they called on him. But then again, Chris, you go back to Baltimore's last game with the Browns, and I'm sorry, that was a straight up pass interference call that was not made. With
Yeah,
what's his name? Oh yeah, thank you so much. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It just it especially I'm hypersensitive in this time where we're talking about a lot of gambling and rigging. You just don't know what's going on. So I hate
yeah.
that that was even a part of the game because that right there that would have really I think been the energy if they had scored, that really would have catapulted Lamar out of. He's clearly injured, but there's
Hmm.
something to be said about adrenaline. So, and for me, that was really the crux of it all. When you said he was throwing passes, he was overthrowing. He's injured. You can clearly tell when he runs, he's hobbled. When he walks, he's hobbled. And I would imagine when you're throwing, right, whatever's all going on outside of this hamstring is impacting the way that he throws that ball. What do you think about that, Christopher?
Well, I'll say this: having had a hamstring, having pulled a hamstring, you end up thinking when you if you're actively playing or actively exercising, then you start thinking about you start to overcompensate and on one I guess part of the leg. I mean, you don't want to stretch out that you don't want to stretch out that hamstring at full strength, but at the same time you end up putting more pressure. I mean, and this is not a medical. I'm not being a medical doctor, but I'm just saying from personal experience that you start ending up, like I remember years ago having, when I ran track, I had all kinds of minor foot ailments and stuff. And sometimes when you overcompensate or you refuse to kind of you're afraid of re-aggravating the injury, that becomes a huge. I mean, it's really a psychological thing. It's like AJ Brown. People complain that AJ Brown is losing a step. AJ Brown was coming off of a hamstring, and sometimes you're afraid that if you go all out when you're healed, that you're going to re-aggravate or re-injure that hamstring. So I don't know where Lamar is on that and everything, but I don't think Lamar is healthy. I did see some signs that he's still willing to run, but he doesn't have that burst like he had. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that
Hmm.
burst. So I think with about 10 days rest, that might be. And I think, and it was going to be hard for them to run the table anyway in terms of wins, but it was a winnable game. But Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, took advantage of it. And but like I said, there's some positive on the Ravens side. But I want to talk about the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals, Joe Burrow means a lot to that team. And that's how he played last night. He means a lot to that team, and the team react. And there's something to be said about that. When you lose your leader, and you got to give the Bengals credit, when you lose your leader, and Joe Burrow is a good player. I will never, you never hear me trashing. If Joe Burrow didn't play within the NFC, I mean the AFC North, if he didn't play within the AFC North, I might like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. I
Oh
like him.
man.
If he didn't
All
play, I might like the guy and
right.
whatnot. I mean, I respect him as a quarterback, but he gave that team the spark. I mean, there's no question in my mind. Him coming back gave that team a level of self confidence that we have not seen from the Bengals within the last 8 weeks. So, yeah, it's
All right.
hard to measure that.
Here's here's what my thoughts right now in a manner when it pertains to Baltimore. And this isn't it's not even a victory. Like it couldn't even be posed as that because they didn't win like I thought it would. But you guys remember a couple weeks back when remember the reason why I said the Browns would beat Baltimore and
Hmm.
a game in which they probably should have. But remember what I was saying. Remember why how I felt the way I felt as far as them falling to coming to the level sometimes, especially with his individual games. And despite them coming into this game on a 5 game win streak, right, and trying to make it 6 in a row, I still was not impressed by that. Now
Uh huh.
you further see why. when the pressure cooker is on high
Mm,
and then going
mm.
up against a team who knows them, some kind of familiarity there, they succumb to that. They play like a lesser, much like there were times they didn't even look motivated out there, almost as though they just wanted it to end now. And this isn't me. You guys saw the you Sapphire. You always clock the body language on certain players. Sometime you saw the way they looked after Zay Flowers lost that ball in front of them. You saw the way
Yeah.
Lamar looked when missing. You saw the way Lamar looked when a couple of his passes were nowhere near anybody in purple or going straight into to the
Mm.
hands or maybe bouncing off the hands of somebody in orange. You saw the way you see he was physically frustrated, and this furthermore shows that not only are they trying to dig themselves out of the hole that they dug themselves into, but that they know what is at stake. And really, and I try not to say this and be a broken record, but like ever since they hosted Kansas City in the AFC Championship game and they lost, they've just been on a slow decrease ever since. It's like a roller coaster, except it's not never going up again. It's just going over the hill and then going down, and you're wondering when it's going to come back up. But the further the more they look up, the quicker that they're spiraling down. And that's the way that I feel about Baltimore right now. And we further saw that yesterday. Don't get me wrong, Cincinnati's defense, they got guys. They can do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, but they're not that. But as much as we're talking about them letting down Drake Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart not playing the games, and that's how they look. Yeah, it would have been nice to have seen a little bit more as far as maybe within the screen passes, the short routes, the quick slams, maybe something a little different to help Lamar build up on that because it wasn't working as far as the deep passes. He wasn't hitting nobody. He wasn't hitting nothing.
Yeah,
So
they
this is
needed to.
another example, I think, as to what we're seeing that despite them having a fight game. Exactly. This is last thing. Despite them having Ryan coming in on that 5 game win streak, that wasn't fully impressive, not only because of who they were playing, but also how they were playing. A couple of those games they could have lost, especially to the Browns. And so now this puts them back at point eight. And if I'm being honest, I'll be surprised if they won two more games within the rest of the season. They play
Preach on it.
Pittsburgh twice. They play Cincinnati again. You got the Packers and Patriots.
Mhm.
It's done for. Thank you on that.
Mhm.
Chris, we're going to see my brother.
Well, what I was gonna say, the way it's looking though, I gotta say that I in that 5 game winning streak, I just felt that they just kind of, especially after the Miami game, um, that they were just kind of eking games out. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad to see that they won, but the problem was that the offense wasn't 100%. Lamar Jackson for some, and Lamar Jackson wasn't 100%, but the play calling, Todd Munkin, I'm starting to question this guy's credibility as a play caller. I really am. I'm starting to really question his credibility because he's not done anything. I mean, the offensive line is terrible. They got two bad, offensive guards. There was a situation where the Bengals got sacked last night, and nobody blocked the guy who sacked Lamar on one of those plays. No one blocked him. Not Stanley was occupied. They didn't have anybody to block this guy, the black one of the defensive linemen on a sack. I mean, to me, right now there needs to be more. There was scrutiny on Zach Orr and the defense. There needs to be some scrutiny on Todd Munkin in that offense. I mean, they found some plays last night, but you're right, Irie. This team always plays down to the level of its competition. It's just something, and I don't know if it's all Lamar. I thought last year, Lamar played well enough, to get them there. It was just, I think, other guys and the rest of the team. I mean, there was all this stuff, and this team still has yet to kind of come out of the funk that they went into last year after that they left. They got eliminated by the Bills in the playoffs, and I think that game in opening day when they lost a big lead, I think that team is still affected by that, and I think that team, the whole team doesn't move in any kind of confidence. Whenever Lamar goes back, I don't think his confidence level is there. That
No,
he's not going to be hit,
no.
and he's not throwing with the confidence he played with last year. You knew a ball was going to be completed. This year, he just It's just like he's in this funk, and he hasn't figured out how to get out of it. And I and
Oh,
I think and I think that with the injury as well, I don't think he's fully healthy, and it shows. And if he
yeah.
doesn't, and I don't see that pep in his step. Maybe in this 10 day stretch, sometimes when you lose a game,
He's not
sometimes
even
it's
looking to run. He's not even looking
right.
to run.
Yeah, he did have one run last night though. He had one run he had one long, I think a 15-20 yard run last night. But you're right. He's not looking to run the way he
No.
used to do, and
The
somehow and that was a discussion all week. That was a discussion all week into that game. So he wasn't looking to run.
exactly. The number of times he was trying to retreat and holding on to the ball without getting rid of it, it all points presents something deeper going on behind the scenes. But that's that right now. We're gonna carry that over to the second segment. Did not go nowhere on that dot. This is Locker Room Read. That's straight to North. I'm Irie Harris. That's Saf Freiburg. That's Chris Murray. Did not go nowhere on that dot. We'll be right back.